Communist warfare relied heavily on guerrilla tactics. Fighters blended in with civilians, a tactic known as invisibility, and used total mobilization, including women and children as support. They also employed lethal booby traps, such as bamboo spike pits, which caused 11% of U.S. deaths. The Viet Cong were heavily supplied by the North Vietnamese, China, and the Soviet Union via the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which were a series of tunnels stretching from North Vietnam through neighboring Laos and Cambodia and into the south. They were supplied weapons and supplies, as well as troops from the north. The Viet Cong also used a series of tunnels in the south, known as the Siu Chi tunnels, that were over 100 miles long and gave them the advantage to strike unexpectedly.
The U.S. followed a more conventional war with the use of soldiers and planes. Operation Rolling Thunder was a massive U.S. bombing campaign aimed at destroying North Vietnam's economy and breaking its morale. Targets included military bases and industrial sites. There was some success, as the bombing raids did disrupt the North Vietnamese. However, the bombing failed psychologically, making the North Vietnamese more determined to fight the Americans. The Communists also worked hard through the night to fix the damage, and were still receiving a steady flow of supplies from China and the USSR, because America did not target the ports like Haiphong. The US also dropped napalm, which dropped a highly flammable jelly-like substance to the ground that could burn through bone.
Under Johnson was also when American troops were sent to fight in Vietnam on the ground. To meet troop demands, the U.S. relied on the draft, escalating troop levels from 23,300 in 1964 to over 500,000 by 1968. General Westmoreland pursued a war of attrition that would have steadily caused the Communists to surrender. But high turnover and inexperience hindered unit cohesion. Search and destroy operations, like Operation Cedar Falls, used Zippo raids to destroy villages that were suspected Viet Cong hotspots or hideouts. However, the VC simply returned via their tunnels and left the U.S. killing and destroying lives of Southern civilians. Chemical warfare was also used by the Americans. First, under Kennedy, Operation Ranch Hand used herbicides like Agent Orange and Agent Blue to strip the Viet Cong of cover and food supply. While tactically successful at exposing bases, the chemicals caused severe contamination and acute illness in both Vietnamese people and U.S. veterans. The resulting genetic damage and ecological disaster led to the program's termination by 1971. The Tet Offensive in 1968 was one of the most notable conflicts in Vietnam. A massive, coordinated attack on 26 cities and U.S. bases by the Communists during a ceasefire for the Lunar New Year. Although the VC suffered catastrophic losses, 58,000 troops killed, the attack proved to be a political and propaganda victory for the North, since, for the time, they had even taken over the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, signaling to the American people that the war was not going as well as they thought. It led to Johnson's decision not to seek re-election, and marked a strategic turning point in the war.